Hello and welcome to Costa Blanca Life. Coming up on today's show, I'll be visiting the Rio Safari Park in Elche to find out about aquatic therapy that they provide for disabled children. Then we'll be taking a look at the multinational urbanisation of Gran Alacant. I'll be meeting an African girl who spent her summer holidays with an English family here on the Costa Blanca. But first, we're going to meet a young man who set up his own business doing airbrush art here in Torrevieja.
Hi, my name is Ronan Zlotogora. My friends know me as Ron, and welcome to my garage. This is where I do all my work: airbrushing, bikes, petrol tanks, helmets. I've been living in Spain 4 years now. I came here around 2003. Came here for 2 weeks on holiday with my dad and to help him move, and I liked it so much I ended up staying here and found a job in the garage, painting cars, doing crash repair and resprays. I learned some of the language, some Spanish, and my way around, and now I'm working for myself and I'm customizing people's motorbikes, Harley Davidsons, cars and their crash helmets. It all started for me about 10 years ago. After being a waiter for 4 or 5 years, I decided for a career change, and I used to fix my friends' cars on the weekends and do small repairs and paint for them, and decided to go to college and learn to do it professionally. And at college, in the kiosk one day when we were having lunch, I came across a magazine on airbrush art, and I was just hooked on it from there and invested in a small cheap airbrush and practiced in my bedroom at home. I couldn't afford the compressor at the time, so I used the spare tyre from my car and used to run to the petrol station and fill up air in it and run back home and finish off the picture. Then I went travelling for a year, did a world trip, a few countries: India, Thailand, Australia, and I worked in Australia for a bit. And I found inspiration there to paint. I started painting in sketchbook. So when I came back to England, I decided to take it further and invested in a better quality airbrush and paints and compressor and stuff, and practiced on old helmets and kept persevering and reading books and getting videos to teach me how to do it, and eventually people became interested in my work, and now I've got quite a bit of work from different places. I go to bike shows all over the country. Recently I went to one in Portugal, in Faro, one of the biggest shows in Europe. 40,000 bikers that came from everywhere, from Italy, France, Germany, and they're all very impressed with my work. I go there and have a stand, display, have a few helmets and the petrol tanks, and they all look at my portfolio, and it's all publicity for me. And I usually raffle a helmet. I paint a helmet for the show with something to do with the show, like the name of the show, as a souvenir for someone, and then the winner takes it home and has a nice little reminder of the show. Most of the work I get here is petrol tanks for motorbikes and crash helmets. I do all kind of design. Usually customers have ideas and ask me to work designs on their ideas, or if they have a theme. Sometimes they give me photos and I can use the photos as references and make a design especially for them. I've got some examples here which I can show you of things that I painted and works that are in progress at the moment, so you can see different stages of the work as it goes through. Okay, this is one of my popular helmets. It's got underwater scene with an island from Hawaii, Tahiti, some beautiful landscape, somewhere I'd like to live one day. Very popular. A lady who saw it once asked me to paint her motorbike with exactly the same picture. And this is simple, just pinstriping, which a lot of people like, is something basic and adds interest to the bikes, helmets. Here we've got a job which I'm working on at the moment. Hasn't been finished, hasn't been lacquered, but you can see the design is supposed to replicate cement and concrete. You can see the cracks in the effect, and he's got his initials of the owner of the bike. What I did with this bike is I took a photo with a digital camera of the bike, and on a computer prepared the design for the owner. Then he could see how it was going to come out, and it was easy for us to make changes of colors, designs, and we went for 2 or 3 designs before we actually took the bike and started working on it or painting. This is a true fire effect, which is a new fashion, which is a new effect. It's quite modern, it's quite striking and attractive, and effective. When the bike's finished and polished and lacquered and polished, it will have this effect. So now it's matte, but at the end it will look like this after lots of coats of lacquer, and it's polished to rid of any imperfections, to give it a high shine and protect the actual artwork underneath the lacquer. This one's a metal effect. Looks like old panels and old metal, pop rivets and things. And this helmet has got to be the most popular thing I've ever painted. Everyone likes this helmet. It's classical and retro. And I suppose it's got Harley on it and everyone likes that. But the old style flames, the checker flag, is definitely one of the most popular pieces I've done. All my work gets a minimum of 7 coats of lacquer. When you pass your hand over it, you don't feel any edges of the paint. It's all flat and it's all polished up to rid it of imperfections, to give you high quality standard work. I not only paint cars and motorbikes, I also paint wall murals, and I've done a few murals for restaurants. I did a restaurant which is called Bogart's Bar and Restaurant, which is, the theme is Humphrey Bogart from movies like Costa Blanca, and the owner commissioned me to paint 4 or 5 murals inside and also a big mural on the outside wall as publicity for the bar. Also, I painted pictures for a Brazilian themed restaurant, which is a local restaurant, it's quite new, and they wanted pictures of animals from Brazil, like the Amazon. So I made a collection of pictures which join onto one another to create a mural, which is kind of the treetops in the Amazon jungle. While I was traveling around Australia, I met the Aboriginal tribe in the Northern Territory up in Darwin, and I found an opportunity to stay with them for a week. I stayed with them in a town called Catherine. They don't actually live in a town, they live out in the bush in the outback, and they don't really deal with tourism too much, but you have to be introduced by someone who knows them, and we were lucky enough to find someone, and were sent out to this their camp, their community in the outback in the bush in their territory, and we managed to stay with them for over a week, and they explained to us their traditions and taught us their rituals, and also showed us how to detect by looking at the bark on a tree and tapping it to see if it will make a good didgeridoo and if the branch would be a good one. All the trees in Australia are already hollow from the termites. They eat the inside of the tree out, so it's hollow. All we have to do is chip the bark off with a hammer and then sand it smooth, and it's ready to play. So they gave us a few classes and showed us how to play a little bit. So I'll give you a little demonstration from what I can remember.